Manifestation. Some of it's solid, peer-reviewed neuroscience, and some of it is sending you completely in the wrong direction. I'm going to show you which is which. The version of manifestation most people have been taught goes something like this. Think positive thoughts, visualize what you want, believe that it's already yours, and the universe will handle the rest. Now, that's not completely wrong. It's just missing about 80% of the actual science. And that missing 80% is precisely where people are getting stuck, where they start blaming themselves, where they wonder what they're doing wrong. When the real issue is that nobody gives them the full picture. So I'm going to. Now, if you're wondering who I am, I have spent 30 years in behaviour change, working with high net worth entrepreneurs and top tier executives. And what actually works is science. So here's what the science actually says. There is a real neurological mechanism at work here, and it's called the reticular activating system, the RAS for short. Your brain receives about 11 million bits of information per second. It can only consciously process about 40 of them. So the RAS has to filter and decide which 40 makes it through. How does it do that? Well, when you focus on something consistently, your RAS starts flagging information that you would have previously missed entirely. Opportunities, connections, patterns that were always there, but you just weren't tuned into them. That part of manifestation is actually real, the part that has solid science behind it. Here's where it starts to go wrong. Gabriele Oettingen at New York University has spent decades researching positive visualization. And what she found is not what the manifestation industry would like you to know. When people spend time vividly imagining a positive outcome, the brain treats it as already achieved. Blood pressure drops, energy decreases, and motivation actually goes down. The brain isn't being lazy, it's doing exactly what it's designed to do. It thinks the work is done. So if pure positive thinking was your strategy, you are neurologically working against yourself. Then there's a University of Queensland research from 2023. They found that people with a strong belief in manifestation were more likely to score higher on measures of narcissism and lower on personal responsibility. I want to be careful here because that is not an attack on anyone who finds value in manifestation. It's a structural problem with the way it's being taught. If the framework tells you that you create your own reality entirely through thought, then by definition, if something goes wrong, it's your fault for not believing hard enough. That's not empowering. It's victim blaming, and it's just dressed up in all this spiritual language. Gabriele Oettingen didn't just identify the problem. She also developed the solution. It's called WOOP. Wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. You start with the wish, the clear, specific goal. Then you imagine the best possible outcome and you let yourself feel it. That part stays because the positive emotion is genuinely useful. But then comes the piece that most in the industry skip entirely. You identify the obstacle, the real internal obstacle, the thing inside you that has stopped you taking that action before. And then you make a plan. Specifically, if this obstacle shows up, I am going to do this. Oettingen's research shows that this process, mental contrasting with implementation intentions, consistently outperforms positive visualization alone. Not occasionally, consistently. Barbara Fredrickson's broaden and build theory adds another layer to this. Positive emotions genuinely do expand your thinking. They make you more creative, more open, better at problem solving. But only when they're grounded in reality. Positive emotion built on a fantasy narrows eventually because reality keeps showing up whether you've planned for it or not. Positive emotion built on a genuine plan compounds because every small step reinforces it. This very closely aligns with what I do within the delete method. The first step is always clarity. We need a really genuinely clear picture of where we are going and what we're actually trying to achieve. Not a vision board, a specific destination. Then we need a strategy, an actual action plan with steps. Then we look at the obstacles, the real ones, the ones that have tripped you up before. Because most people know the hurdles are coming and still don't prepare for them. And that's exactly the point where positive visualization on its own falls apart. We look at how you used to deal with all those old hurdles, the old thinking, the old patterns, the behaviours that kept you stuck. And we look at how the new version of you is going to handle the exact same situation. That's the mental contrasting piece. Old self compared to new self. But here's where the delete method goes even further than the research. Once we've done all that, I use hypnosis to install the new thinking as an instant habit. Not something that you have to consciously remember to do, not something that you have to put willpower into to do. It fires automatically because it's been hardwired at the level where habits actually live. Oettingen says, make a plan for when the obstacle shows up. The delete method makes that plan the default response, the thing that your brain reaches for first, without you having to think about it. So here's where we've landed. Manifestation is not nonsense. Some of it is well-supported neuroscience. The reticular activating system is real. Positive emotion is useful. Mental contrasting works. What is not supported is the idea that thought alone creates outcomes, that you can visualize your way to a result without a strategy, without facing the real obstacles, and without understanding what's been stopping you. The version being sold in most of the industry leaves all of that out, and you have to ask yourself why. Because incomplete information keeps people coming back. If you don't get the result, you didn't believe enough. So you buy the next course, the next meditation, the next program. So who benefits from you believing what they're saying? The science is available, it's peer-reviewed, it's replicable, and it points clearly at what actually works. The only thing standing between you and that information is whether someone finds it more profitable to give you the full picture or just half of it.